On this edition of Saving American Energy, we head to Carlsbad, New Mexico to discover the technology Crestwood is using to help power our country and make the products we need every day. And we'll learn all about the midstream side of oil and gas. Come along for the ride and meet some amazing patriots who answered the call for American energy. Growing up in the energy capital of the world, Houston, Texas, I learned the value of hard work. I also learned that without the grit of Americans working every day to provide us with energy, the lights will go out. We are fighting to make sure that that never happens. I'm Wesley Hunt, and I'm running for Congress to restore, defend, and preserve American energy independence. But I can't do it alone. That's why I'm traveling the country in search of the brave, patriotic, and innovative leaders that power our lives. I want to tell their stories and change the conversation from energy transition to energy addition. Together, we're saving American energy. Our next stop on Saving American Energy is New Mexico to visit Crestwood's midstream operations, which include 459,000 acres in the New Mexico and West Texas desert. And their VP of Operations, Jonathan Smith, tells us all about it. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I'm Wesley Hunt, right here in Carlsbad, New Mexico, at Crestwood's midstream gathering facility. And you know what they're doing? They're saving American energy.
I'm Jonathan Smith with Crestwood. I'm Vice President of Operations for the Permian and Powder River Basin up in Wyoming. And so this is the Herradura compressor station. What's happening here is we're taking in the gas and we're increasing the pressure and pumping it on down a pipeline to our processing plant on downstream. So we bring the gas in, clean any free liquids out of the gas, and then it goes over to the compressors where it goes across, 2 to 3 stages of compression. Going from, basically 120 pounds to about 1,100 pounds discharge. So after compression, the gas comes back out, goes through some dehydration systems there where we remove most of the water. And then goes on down the pipeline and onto our processing plant on downstream.
So do you have pipelines from the individual wellheads that flow directly to this location right here?
We do. So producers bring it usually to a point where we have a meter, and that's where we, custody transfer takes place. And then yes, there's pipelines that go out in the field at low pressure, bring the gas into the facility, and then compression, dehydration, and then our pipelines are, the discharge lines that take it to the plant, and then at the plant it's processed further. We do the processing, which is why we're a midstreamer. We're a midstream company. So we're doing, the processing that's in the middle between production and, the final consumer.
Got it. Here's how Crestwood's compressor station works. First, gas enters the facility through a separator. Liquids are sent to storage tanks and the gas stream is routed to compression and filter separation. Dehydration units then remove excess water from the wet gas. The dry gas is discharged from the station down a pipeline to their processing facility, which we'll visit next. The system overall is low emission, and the enormous 11 engines used were transported from Crestwood's West Virginia facility. Recycling these engines cuts down on Crestwood's carbon footprint. Crestwood operates this piece of energy tech, but entrepreneurs like Anthony Foreman and his more than 150 full-time workers build them. Let's learn more.
I've been in oil and gas myself for quite a while, but this company that I own, we've only been operating for about 7 years now.
Okay, so what's quite a while?
So probably about another 5 years before that, I was out here chasing drilling rigs and doing well heads. I'm a welder by trade.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been in the industry for a while.
Okay, so tell me about your company now. What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
The company right now, basically what you just toured, this is what we built.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a facility that my guys came out and built. We did everything in this facility except the electrical. So we set all the compressors, all the tanks, all the vessels,
all the pipe,
everything in. Yep.
Everything.
Yep. All the concrete. Yep.
So basically, at any given time, how many sites are you working?
Right now, about 15.
Well, right now?
Yeah.
And basically all the Carlsbad area? Do you branch out into Texas or anything else?
Yeah, we're all south of Carlsbad in the Delaware Basin.
Okay.
That's where everything's going on.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for all you do.
No
I appreciate your time.
Very good to meet you.
Honestly. And honestly, thank you for what you do, honestly.
Yep.
Well, miss, I guess I'll be on my way now.
We're on the road again. Next stop, Crestwood's Orla Gas Processing Facility. Throughout the Delaware Basin, Crestwood operates 437 miles of pipe with over 85,000 horsepower of gas compression.
This is our Orla gas processing facility. We process up to 200 million cubic feet a day of gas. Here, this is our incoming slug catcher. Very similar concept to what we saw at the compressor station in the field. Basically a two-phase separator separating the gas from the liquids. The compressor station that we were at is about 43 miles north of here as the pipeline travels, and it takes the gas between probably 8 to 10 hours to get from up there all the way down here to the slug catcher. This slug catcher it's a 2,500 barrel slug catcher. We've got automatic pig launchers. Well, we'll launch a pig, which will help push and sweep the liquids. It's got a couple of like poly cups, which kind of seal up against the external portion of the pipe, and it kind of pushes the liquids and helps us manage the liquid so it just doesn't slug on us uncontrollably. And so we can run those, about 2 times a day. After the gas hits the slug catcher, it goes through a second separator, and then it goes through some inlet heaters just to make sure that there aren't any, entrained liquids that still are inside of the
So the heater separates the liquid from the
heater takes anything that condensed, back into a gas form.
We now have a better understanding of what gas processing in Midstream does, but what are some of the products and types of energy that can be produced? Ben breaks it down for us.
So as we process the gas, really what we're trying to do is we're trying to separate the methane from some of the other natural gas liquids that are entrained in the raw gas coming in from the field. So
it's methane, butane.
Right. So we want the methane to go out in its own separate pipe, because that's typically used for domestic gas or to fire, industrial turbines or something like that at a power generation facility. But then the ethane, the propanes, the butanes, pentanes, hectanes, all the above, those are really valuable to the plastics industry. And so we send those down to a fractionator and then to some refineries down on the Gulf Coast, where they'll separate out those different constituents, and run them through a cracker and develop a propylene and ethylene and use those for plastics generation.
Got it.
And so,
what percentage, if you could guess, what percentage that comes in ends up going to plastics?
If I was going to guess, I'd probably say 75%.
When most people think of oil and gas, they think of gassing up their car, but they never think about all the products that the petrochemical industry is responsible for producing. Plastics are in almost everything. The smartphone in your pocket, the shoes on your feet, your coffee cup, water bottles, utensils, plates, shampoo, literally everything.
Like I said, this facility processes about twice as much gas as we saw that went through that compressor station out in the field. So these compressors over here are driven by electric motors. We've got a large substation coming in where we get high voltage power to drive a lot of the equipment, including our mechanical refrigeration system. At least at Crestwood, we've really tried hard to evaluate electric compression when we can.
Yep.
Not only do we find it to be more reliable, but also it's typically cleaner because you don't have the emissions associated with it. So we've got 2 pipelines
on the other side?
Yeah, on the south side of the facility over here. One for natural gas liquids and then one for the methane gas that leaves. They both go to larger interstate or intrastate pipelines. The liquids mostly go to the Texas Gulf Coast. The methane gas goes into 2 different pipeline systems. One goes all the way out to California and feeding a lot of the cities and states in between.
Yep.
The other one heads down towards the Houston area and hits the Gulf Coast down there.
Putting gas in your car and heating your homes is a very exhaustive and a very extensive process. So we also want to show and capture that in a plant like this.
Yeah.
I mean, separating all the gases and then what pipeline it goes through that goes to this state, and it goes to the Gulf Coast, it gets refined here. It's very complex.
It is, and it's very expensive too. You're probably standing on a site that costs us about $120 million to build.
Wow.
And then ongoing operations is probably between $5 to $7 million a year just for this facility right here.
Yes, and it's a business.
Right.
And so you have to recoup that capital investment.
Absolutely.
Which is how this works.
Yep.
Midstream operations like Crestwood are essential to powering our country. Private innovation, creating clean energy to power our lives. And it's more than just clean energy sprung from the desert. It's jobs, jobs, jobs. We need more of this, not less. And that's how you save American energy.
At Crestwoods, give me a second. Carlsbad, New Mexico, at Crestwood's Midstream. Perfect.
Not on.
Hard hat. Got American flags on the back too.
This is good. I saw it.
Yeah.
These are good hats too.
Yep.
The latest on the search for 11 missing crewmen.
A massive explosion lit up the sky.
Next time on Saving American Energy, how does an industry recover after one of the biggest disasters in its history? We meet the people of Trendsetter who changed everything with their capping stack. Today, they are the world leader in subsea well control technology.
We need to save American energy.